Hi, I'm Dr. Will Weber. I am the instructor for this Math 142 online class. I wanted to walk you through the syllabus here so that you get a good idea of what to expect from this class and what I expect from you. So here we go. This is, of course, Math 142, Pre-Calc 2. The section is on line 1, 5 credits. This is the winter of 2018. There's a prerequisite of Math 141. I guess that's Math and 141. C or better. I always point out that a prerequisite is the minimum to get in. If you really want to succeed, you should know everything from your previous math classes. I tell a quick story here about not only am I a mathematician, math teacher, I have been an electrician. I was an electrical administrator, certified by the state of Washington, and I had to pass a test to become a electrical administrator, and I needed a 70% or better on this test, which I got. There were 3 parts to it, and I needed a 70% on each part, and my lowest score on the parts was a 71. Anyway, I got through. But the thing is, once you're there and you're in the electrical industry and you do a job and the inspector comes and takes a look at it, the inspector doesn't say, oh, you got 70% of this right. Good, you passed. It's like, no. The inspector looks at it and says, you got one thing wrong. Go fix it. If you have holes in your mathematical background, we need to go fix it. We need to fill in those holes. We need to teach you how to do the things you don't know how to do yet. And so ask. I am here to help you learn math. I'm here to help you learn Pre-Calc 2, but if I've got to teach you factoring or some algebra concept that comes before Pre-Calc 2, then so be it. Let's get your questions out there and make sure you know everything, because you're going to need everything to be done correctly. Okay. Anyway, so you're already here, so you know that we are not using Canvas, we're using WAMAP, www.wamap.org. The course ID number is, of course, 15899, with the enrollment key being 142. That's what you need to get to the point where you can actually watch this video, so probably you already know that. Anyway, here's my information. I am Dr. William T. Weber. You can just call me Will. That's great. My office is in LDC 221. This is an online class, and I think sometimes people forget that their online class, their online instructor is an actual real person. If you're a welcome student that you're here on class, on campus for your other classes, feel free, stop in. LDC 221. I'm more than happy to help students, even my online students, in my office. So anyway, my official office hours are from noon to 1. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or by appointment. I have 1 face-to-face class and 2 onlines. So I'm in my office generally from 9:30 in the morning till 2 or 3 in the afternoon, depending on any meetings I have, whatnot. But so if this time, noon to 1, isn't good for you, but you want to meet some other time, just make an appointment, or heck, just stop in. If my door is open, come on in, and my door is usually open. So come see me. It's a fun place. You can see, I'm sitting in my office right now. You can see all the fun stuff behind me, right? I have a lot of fun with math. It's been my joy for many years. So anyway, my phone number here, 360-383-3566. Feels free to call. If I'm not in and you have to leave a voice message, then it will be sent to my email, and I'll actually check it, because I do check my email. So feel free to leave a message. If you need to or want to contact me by email, Weber, there's 2 W's, 2 B's, 2 E's, not next to each other, and an R, wweber@whatcom.edu. Yeah, so we will be using the same text that we used for Math 141 if you took it from us here at Whatcom. It is Pre-Calculus Mathematics for Calculus, 7th edition by Stewart, Redlin, and Watson. We will cover chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. The bulk of this course is trigonometry. It is, most of it is trigonometry. There's some polar coordinates and parametric equations at the end, last couple of weeks. Okay, but for the most part, we're going to be doing trig. And trig is fun. Trig is different. It's more geometric than what you've gotten used to. I loved it because it was more geometric. You can see behind me, I got all kinds of geometry stuff. I love geometry stuff. Anyway, it's very visual. Be ready to have to think a little differently because we got to think visually. So be ready to ask questions, even though you may never have had to ask a question in a math class before. I will be happy to answer. Anyway, course outcomes. There are, of course, the things. These are the things that the department has said. If you get anything out of this class, this is what you should be getting out of it. This is the kind of things you're looking for, stuff I might quiz on or test on. You know, this is probably a good list to look at. Yeah, of course, and there's just core learning abilities, the whole things that the college in general thinks that you're going to get out of your time here. This is, of course, a quantitative literacy class. Technically, you can satisfy the quantitative literacy class by just passing Math 99. So the fact that you're on 142 tells me you've probably got some quantitative literacy. And we are just enhancing that literacy to become, you know, really highly literate mathematically, quantitatively. Here we go. I got to give you a quiz. Sorry, I got to give you a quiz. I got to give you a. Well, that's annoying. I've got to give you a grade at the end of this class. So I've got to base it on something. There will be homework, there will be quizzes, there will be tests, and there's a couple of projects and discussions and all kinds of things. So let's go through all these things that I expect you to do. First of all, there's homework. There's two types of homework. Within the WAMAP page, each week, within the content, in each week there's a block called content, and as you're working through the content, there will be practice problems. These are automatically graded by WAMAP. They are not part of your grade, right? But they are what's going to get you your grade. Think about anything that you do well. Some people really play the piano well, some people play hockey well, some people skateboard, juggle, do math, play the violin. I don't know. You know, there's all kinds of things people do well. What do you do well? Do you knit? Whatever it is, think about how much time you spend practicing that thing that you do really well. Hours, thousands of hours. I mean, look behind me. I do math. Thousands, millions of hours over my lifetime. I don't even know if I've been alive a million hours, but it seems like it. So this is what I see. In order to do math, you need to practice. That's what homework is. It's not about grading. This is where you learn how to do it. I will test later whether you learn how to do it, but practicing is where it's what you need to do to get good. So there's a couple types of homework. There's the stuff on the WAMAP page, and there's the stuff in the book. This list here, each section has the homework problems I think you should do in those sections. This is sequence notation, so n is an integer. So if n is an integer, then 2n would be an even integer, and 2n plus 1 would be an odd integer. So this is like all the odds, right? This is all the odds, stopping at number 71. So right? 4n plus 1 would be not all of the odds, but every other odd, because it'd be one more than the multiples of 4. So like 1, 5, 9, whatever. These are all sequence notations for which homework problems you should be working on. Again, this is not part of your grade. This is for practice. These are the things you're going to ask questions about in the discussion. You're going to be working on these problems. You're going to say, oh my goodness, I was trying to do problem number 47 on section 6.1 and I got stuck. And here's what I've done and how do I keep going? And then we'll help you. Right? But anyway, this is what you do for practice. Okay. The actual grade itself comes from several things. Discussions is the first part. Each week there is a discussion form. That is, in the week 1 block there'll be a discussion for week 1. In the week 2 block there's a discussion for week 2. This is where you ask your questions. If you're doing the WAMAP questions, there's usually a link right on the question. If you've got a problem, you're working on a problem, you got a question on that problem, you can click on the link to ask the question in the form. It automatically takes you to the discussion forum, and you can say, "Hey, I'm working on this problem," and it'll have it right there, and you can ask your question. Right. This is where I answer questions for people. The main place I do it. Other students answer questions here. you are required each week to participate. You need to be part of this discussion in a substantial way. Right? What do I mean by substantial? Ask a question. That's substantial. Answer somebody's question. That's substantial. If you don't have any questions and all the questions out there have been answered, then you say, hey, look, here's a problem I did and solved, and here's how I did it. Just, put it out there just to say something someone else might be able to use too. Sometimes it's as I was doing my homework, I found this other website, and here's a good link with a video that helped me get through the stuff. Post that. Just saying, oh, thanks, or yeah, I have the same question. That's not substantial. Do something substantial each week. I say there's 12 discussions because there's 11 weeks, so one for each week, and then there's the week 0 sort of introduction. Just introduce yourself. Do it. Each let's see. These are graded on a score of 10. If you do it, you get 10. If you don't, you don't. Yeah, they're usually graded a couple weeks behind because there's not a due date necessarily on them. The due date is whenever I grade it, so it's probably 2 weeks after the week ends. I like to let some time go by just because the discussions don't always end at the end of the week. People are still talking about things, and so I give a couple extra days whenever I grade it. That's when it's due. Anyway, so that's what, 10% of your grade. Not a lot, but a letter grade. Quizzes. Yes, each week there is a quiz, except on the weeks when there's a midterm or a final. So of the 11 weeks, there's 9 quizzes. Okay. The quiz will appear generally on Wednesday during the week, and it'll be due Sunday night at midnight or 11:59 p.m. Okay. When WAMAP shuts off at 11:59, that's it. Okay. You do have the option of late passes. Each person gets 2 late passes. So if the deadline goes by, within 24 hours of that deadline going by, you can say, I want to use my late pass, and it gives you 24 hours past the deadline. So even though it's due Sunday night, midnight, it gives you until Monday night, midnight to get it done. Okay, you have 2 of those that you can use at some point during the quarter. They're for the quizzes or for the project, I guess. Well, they work either way. If you got a project, you got something you need a little more time on, you use those late passes. Okay, quizzes, they're reasonably short, and for everything I want you to ask and just do on the discussions, not the quizzes. You are to do the quizzes by yourself. There will be no discussion of the quizzes on the discussion groups. If someone does post something, I will delete it, and I will let you know that this is not appropriate. Okay, quizzes are to be done by yourself. Homeworks, yeah, get all the help you want. Talk about it. Quizzes by yourself. Okay. Of all the quizzes, I will drop the lowest score. Yeah. Anyway. Projects. There's 2 projects. In week 2, there's this thing called the triangle assignment. That also doesn't look like it has a due date on it, or it's got this really ridiculously late due date. You want to do it right away. It is important enough that if people don't do it right away, it's still good if they get it done by the end of the quarter. So, but do it right away. Do it in week 2 when you come to it in the content. Just do it. Triangle assignment. It will help you immensely for the rest of the quarter, right? Do it. And then there's one in week 10 called parametric doodling. That's going to be due like the day before the final. Each project is worth 5% of your grade. Okay. Some time ago, the math department set a policy that our online classes had to have a proctored portion of the grading system. It had to be like 50% of the grade or something like that. I don't remember what the number is. Well, 50. So what I do is I have 2 exams, a midterm and a final, which I will invite you to come to campus. I'll set up a time and room, and you can come and take the final or the midterm, whichever, both of them. And we'll look at the calendar here for those dates. But so you'll come to campus, bring a photo ID. You'll be allowed a page of notes. both for the midterm and for the final